Right.
Uh, I guess we're late, right? No, we move over here, Judge, so we can both be in the camera. I took a shower this morning, so So Angela didn't want to come to see me. Okay, I know that.
Go.
Hello, Las Vegas. This is Rolando Larraz with Face the Tribune. Remember, if you have nothing to hide, you can face the Tribune. But if you don't, or if you do, we're gonna go after you. You don't have to face us, we face you. As always, Mr. Producer, my co-host, Clark Philly is here with me, and today I'm honored to have Judge Conrad Haffen with us from the Clark County, Las Vegas Justice Court, right?
Correct.
Welcome, Judge.
Yes. Department 14.
First time, right?
Yes.
First time you come to face the Tribune. Why? You was afraid to face the Tribune? I don't think so.
No, I don't know if I ever got invited before.
I don't know. You only been there one term.
Yep.
You know, we need to find out how you doing before we can invite you.
Good afternoon.
Mr.
Welcome.
Producer.
Thank you.
Yeah, Judge Haffen has been in Justice Court now for 6 years. He's running for re-election. And I was told by several people that you're doing a very, very good job.
Thank you.
And that's why I wanted to invite you. I don't know why you need to have, which in a way is good, to have two people running against you, two challengers. And the only thing I don't like about it is that not only they both females, which make it a little tougher for you, I think. That's what I hear. I never run for office, so
Right.
I hear, and we need to make sure that whoever is is controlled by David Thomas. It cannot happen. He already got district court, and I believe he got a few in justice court, but we need to stop that. Not especially when that man doesn't have a rope on.
Correct.
You know, if you disagree with me, I hear your opinion. I'd like to know what you think about one man controlling the courthouse.
No, I agree with that. But, in America, candidates are free to go out and hire whatever campaign manager they want.
Voluntarily.
What's that?
Voluntarily?
Voluntarily, yes.
Yeah, what about when
but
he's
the
on
public,
track?
but the public has the right, if they don't like that campaign manager, to use that as a reason for not voting for that campaign person,
But
for that
Judge,
candidate.
do you think that especially in the judicial races, which I always believe that a judicial race is more or less controlled by the legal community. Most of the people that come here and complain about anything wrong in the courtroom, they don't even remember who the judge is.
Right.
Unfortunately, that's the truth. I asked him, who was the judge in the case? Oh, I don't know. I don't remember. Well, you got a name over there and big names in the bench facing you, so you should remember. But anyway, I believe that the judicial races are more or less among the legal community. And I don't think that the legal community should be threat or being forced to hire somebody because they are afraid of that man. And I believe that a lot of judges, even if they are not part of David Thomas' stable, I believe some judges are afraid to talk, and he's going to put somebody to run against him or her, whatever. I think it is unfair to the system. And one thing that I find very peculiar on you, And that is why kind of I like to use you as a poster boy. You know, you don't take campaign contribution from attorneys.
That's correct.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
I don't take a
refreshing.
dime.
That is
Wow,
refreshing.
gee.
You know, well,
Yeah,
you
I've
know,
never done that.
but let me tell you, unfortunately, people don't know how to appreciate that because my friend Ken Pollack was the same way. He didn't take money from the lawyers. He don't even if they want to give it, and he explained this is not obligation in my part to you, and he lost the election.
Yeah.
You know, unfortunately, that's the way it is. But
Was he in justice court?
He
No,
was
he's
a
a family court.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Family court, very, very good. He ruled by the law, like you like people to rule by the law.
That's the only way you can rule, in my opinion.
Yeah, I had a policy that I just refused to take money from
You
attorneys.
did that in the last race too?
Yes,
You did
yes.
that.
And in the last race, my opponent took money from lawyers. He raised $90,000 for his campaign. I only raised $2,900, and I beat him by 10 points. So that says, I
And
think, a
what was
lot
the-
about my strength as a
Definitely,
candidate.
definitely,
Yes.
and that's one of the reasons why I like to invite you to this show, because we need to open the eyes, we need to alert the community that that's the way it should be.
Yes.
You know, you cannot be, because honestly, as much as I have problem with many of the judges, I don't think judges are gonna sell their ruling for a $200 campaign or $500. I don't think we have anybody in there that will do that. But the image of impropriety, and if you rule in favor of one person, oh yeah, of course, because he given money, even if it wasn't, even if the ruling was fair, that's the mentality of the people. So if you don't give money, you cannot be accused of being unfair or to rule by the money and not by the law.
Other states that I know have gone to a different system to get a judges on the bench other than electing them by the public to facilitate the fact that they don't have to raise campaign funds, because that leads to corruption.
Right.
And other states have done away with that, just for that purpose.
And you know, it's ironic because some of the judges that we have in this show, or in his show, he got a show at 2 o'clock in the afternoon called The Herd. He's not complaining about anything, he just want people to give solutions
Yes.
instead of than complaining and bitching about something.
Yes.
And it's a good idea, I think. But some of the judges, they said they feel embarrassed, they feel difficult to ask for money. And some lawyers are smart enough that they wait for the judge to go and ask for money.
Yes.
You know, I know a judge in family court, then they called the attorney and said, can you approach? And he said, I haven't get your check yet. You don't want to make me mad.
Boy, that's unfortunate. But as you said, Rolando, I believe strongly in making sure that the image, that there's no appearance of impropriety.
It goes to the
And-
integrity of the court.
Absolutely, and that's why
Most important thing.
I made the choice individually not to take money from attorneys, and if I win or lose, then I win or lose on my principles.
And
So
you can sleep at night.
that's correct.
That's
You have
what
a
it should
family?
be.
Yes, yep. Raised my children here. I have
Where
two
are you
boys and
from?
2 girls. Well, I grew up in Utah,
Oh.
but I've lived in Nevada for 27 years. But my family, my extended family, are third generations here in
Oh, really?
southern Nevada. My grandmother was born and raised in Lincoln County. My cousin, Andy Haffen, he's the mayor of Henderson.
Yeah.
And he was born and raised out there. I've got relatives, family in Mesquite, here in Las Vegas, and out in Pahrump. So there's been Hafens here for 3 generations.
So
So,
you are an LDS.
that's right. Yeah, yes I am.
If you
Yes, I am Mormon.
If you say Hafen, well, is Mormon kind of a
Well, that's a
derogatory
nickname.
statement, or?
Well, it's a nickname. The church's name is the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
That's what the LDS
Yeah.
is.
Yes, okay. But the nickname is Mormon because we believe in the Bible and the Book of Mormon, both of those books.
Oh,
Yeah.
but you don't believe in having 3 or 4 wives? Or
Oh, no,
You
no,
can- you can
no, we
afford-
don't,
You can
no,
afford it,
no,
right?
we
One's
don't,
enough,
we don't
right?
do that. That's correct, yeah.
No, that was in the old days.
That,
right?
yeah, that was at the very beginning of the church, yeah. They don't do that anymore.
And what happened? How come they stopped? They couldn't afford the wives?
No, well, because the church made a decision not to do that practice anymore, and so they haven't done it for, 150 years.
Wow, really?
Oh,
Yeah.
so
Who does do it? 'Cause
Yeah.
somebody's doing it.
Well, there are people who used to be members of the church, the polygamists,
Right.
that
so they've
still
dropped
practice
out?
it, but
Oh,
yeah, they've
dropped out.
they've dropped out of the church.
Is polygamy against the law now?
Yes,
It
yeah,
is.
that's against the church's principles.
But not against the law.
It's against the law, yeah, it's against the
Oh,
law in
it is?
Utah, it's against the law in Nevada, I think it's against the law in all 50 states.
Well, it's against the law to be married twice.
Well, to be married to more than one wife,
Right.
that's correct.
But if you're not married to just one wife and you like to live with 3 or 4,
No, that's no.
Then I don't
that's
think.
not illegal.
I don't think that's against the law. Yeah, you can live with as many people as you want, I assume.
Right.
Yeah,
And if they fight among each other, that's their problem, right?
that's right, that's their problem.
Okay, now what is, you've been there now for 6 years. You used to be a prosecutor, right?
Yes, I was a career prosecutor.
Uh-huh.
But you asked me earlier about being a judge, and I think there's 3 things that we want in our judges. We want our judges to have experience, we want our judges to know the law, and we want our judges to be able to balance justice and mercy. Those 3 things. In regard to experience, I've been an attorney for 27 years. I was a career prosecutor. I worked as the chief deputy district attorney in Humboldt County, that's in Winnemucca, Nevada, for 10 years. And then in 2003, Brian Sandoval, who was the attorney general at the time, called me up and asked me to come back to Las Vegas and work as the chief deputy attorney general and start up the first political corruption unit. So I moved my family back. We left Las Vegas, went up to Winnemucca. Then we came back in 2003 to Las Vegas, and I started up the first political corruption unit. Within 3 months, I indicted City Councilwoman Janet Moncrief for political corruption, for filing false campaign reports. Okay, and then I also prosecuted. You remember the group Acorn?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
President Obama used to work for them in
Right.
Chicago.
Right.
Well, in 2008, they set up shop here in Las Vegas,
Right, and
and they
commercial
were
center.
falsifying registration forms.
Yeah.
No.
So
Yeah.
I prosecuted Acorn, the organization, and 2 of their employees. And Fox News ran a documentary on campaign fraud. And when we did the preliminary hearing, Fox News came into the courtroom and filmed me doing the preliminary hearing. So they were,
Involved with the
the investigators did that.
Right.
And then they gave me the case. So Acorn ended up pleading to a couple of felonies. They had to pay a civil penalty. The 2 employees pled to criminal charges, and they were put on probation. So I had that case, and then I also argued for the United States Supreme Court. A big case, it was the Heibel case. And the Heibel case is now taught in law schools throughout the country in their constitutional law classes. So I've argued for the United States Supreme Court. I started up the political corruption unit. I've prosecuted over 5,000 cases. So that's part of my experience. About my knowledge of the law, one thing that Brian Sandoval had me do when I was in the Attorney General's office is I set up 3 satellite places to teach law enforcement officers about the Constitution. So I would travel to Ely, Nevada, Carson City, and then in Las Vegas, and I would teach classes to our law enforcement officers about the Fourth Amendment so they wouldn't violate people's rights.
Judge, what about teaching those classes to some of the judges in Clark County?
Well,
Is anybody doing any kind of corruption investigations or anything like that?
Well-
I don't want to put you in any predicament.
Right.
I know you there with them. I know that you have, but I tell you, now that I know your background, I would like to sit down with you and tell you a few things.
Okay.
Then maybe you can give me the notion and the knowledge on how to handle that.
well, as a judge, I have to be independent. So I don't think it would be right that, I would sit down with you and you could tell me some things. What you would need to do is contact the Attorney General's office and contact the Political Corruption Unit and meet with the prosecutors and the investigator and give them the information. Because that's what I did when I was in that office.
I try. You know what
No.
they tell me? It's not their jurisdiction.
Oh.
I go to the FBI, they tell me it's not their jurisdiction.
Oh.
Everybody is passing the bucket, and you know that.
Well,
You
that's
know,
that's
but I
unfortunate.
tell you,
Say
it-
hypothetically, you had a district court judge, let's say, instead of justice court, that did not follow the Constitution of the United States and violated somebody's rights. And you go to the Attorney General's office and they go, well, they just don't do anything.
Well, a judge who makes a ruling from the bench has what they call judicial immunity, okay? So your recourse would be, you could always file a complaint with the Judicial Commission, or since we have elections, you could work to have that judge removed during the next time they're up for re-election.
Let's say a judge signed an order that was bank fraud. In other words, they claimed that a cashier's check was lost, and they knew full well it wasn't lost. So that's above immunity, because the judge knows full well he's breaking the law when he signs that order.
Well, and under those circumstances, then you could certainly probably either go to the Attorney General's office or to the FBI and have them take a look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So,
right now, is nobody really working on the, you work corruption and the political side, but nobody is looking at corruption in the courts.
well, and that's unfortunate. Like I say, when I started that unit, I prosecuted a Nye County commissioner for bribery, had him convicted. I prosecuted the vice president of the community college. He was
I
stealing
remember.
building materials and building his $1 million house up at Mount Charleston.
I remember.
I convicted him of 8 felonies, and he went to prison for that. So when I was in the Attorney General's office, we were very, very active in prosecuting cases that we investigated or that people would call up and tell us about. We'd do an investigation.
Do you have subpoena power to do the investigation and
Yes.
get documents?
Do you
Yes.
work with Brian Quincy?
I used to,
You did?
yes. Yep. I
He's a
used to.
judge now, right?
No, he used to be the district attorney in Nye
In
County,
Nye County.
and then he lost re-election, and I'm not sure where he is now. I
He's
don't
not
know.
with the AG, so.
No, as far as I know, he's not.
He was very much involved in
Yeah,
uncovering.
he did workers' comp fraud.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Yes. Yeah, he was a pretty good guy, I
Yeah.
think. I thought maybe he went to be a judge because normally when you're doing something that affect so many elected officials, they trying to brainwash you to run for judge so that they can get you out of the way. And I
Right,
thought
yeah.
maybe that's what happened to you.
Yeah. Oh, no.
You know, they
No.
either help you to get out of the
Yeah.
way or they take you out of the
Yeah.
way, one of the two.
Yeah. No, I worked, like I say, Brian Sandoval, Governor Sandoval hired me when he was
You're
the
not a
Attorney General's
Republican,
office.
are you?
Yes,
You are?
yes. And then Catherine Cortez Masso came in, and she kept me on as the Chief Deputy Attorney General, and I worked under her as well.
Who was better, AJ?
Both of them. I like both of them.
Really?
Yes.
I
yes.
thought she was a good.
Yes.
I thought she was a good
How
AJ.
long
Yes.
did you work under her?
6 years,
Wow, that's
and
a
2
lot.
years under Brian Sandoval, yeah.
Yeah, I like her. She's been in this show 2 times, I think.
How long was she Attorney General?
2 terms, 8 years.
2 terms?
Yeah,
She only
yeah.
had 2 years. She was-
Yeah, and then I took the bench in 2011, and then she did 2 more years as the Attorney General.
So you worked for
After
her,
I left.
the whole time you worked, she was the.
Well, Brian Sandoval, the first 2 years, yeah. I was there in 2003.
Yeah, I told her that if she run for governor and if this sister don't run for governor, I will help her. But I don't know, I got a bad taste in my mouth about Senator Reid, and I could not help her now to become U.S. Senator. I don't think she will be running. She would not be the U.S. Senator. It will be Harry Reid. In my opinion, that's not your opinion, it's my opinion. And I gotta be careful when one of you guys come over here, because I don't want to put words in anybody's mouth,
Right.
and I don't want to hurt your campaign, because I think you got one good point with me. You don't take money from attorneys, and I think people need to realize
That
that
the system needs to
is
be changed, the law needs to be
consistent
changed.
with your
in my
principle
opinion.
and your integrity. I believe that that's the way it should be, you know, and like I said, I'm contradicting myself. I don't think any judge will do that with the intent. I don't think judges will allow $200, $300, because most of the attorneys in this town, they all live it above their means anyway. They don't have that much money to invest in a campaign, but I believe they're good hustlers, they're good BSs.
You were
And,
working in the Attorney General's office then around 206 and 207 in
Yes.
that area?
Yes.
Do you recall the articles written out of the Las Vegas Times about corruption in the judicial system here in Nevada?
Yes,
And
yes,
you were in the corruption business
Right.
back then.
yeah, yeah.
Did anything come out of that?
No,
Not
no,
no.
no.
Because they
We
were
couldn't get any-
judges,
We
so-
couldn't get anybody to come forward.
Like who would have to come forward?
Well, you would have had to have witnesses, people that, you
Nobody,
know,
'cause they-
and nobody would come forward. I think
Yeah.
because they were afraid.
That's
I
Yeah,
think that's
sure.
part of it. So, and that's the thing, because you read those articles but, you know, unless somebody's willing to come forward and testify, you don't have much of a case.
Yeah.
So, and that's what I had, you know, when I prosecuted, of course, Janet Moncrief, I had a lot of witnesses. When I prosecuted the Nye County Commissioner, I had witnesses. So I was able to
You
build my
didn't
case.
prosecute Bob Baker, did you?
No,
No.
no.
Besides, he wasn't really corrupted, he was just.
I think he got charged with DUIs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, he was, that's
Yeah.
not corruption. He used to do the show with me after he left Nye County. He was my co-host for about a year.
oh, okay.
But it was very difficult for me to have him as a co-host, because anything that I said or anything that I asked him or anything, it reflect on him, and then he had to appear before those judges. And some of those judges are very vindictive. You know, you have to accept the reality, Judge. Some of your fellow co-workers are very vindictive, you know, and
I don't know, you know, like I
well,
said,
they cannot be vindictive to
You
you.
transfer back to the corruption department for a little while.
well, I enjoy being a judge, and I think I do a good job.
You are.
You know, and I try to balance that justice and mercy, and try to look at each case individually and on its facts.
Do you handle any civil or mostly all?
The first year I did the civil calendar, and when Judge Bauckham, Susie Bauckham and I, we went to law school together.
Really?
And we became judges at the same time. And we were assigned the civil calendar. When we took the bench and took over the civil calendar, there were over 6,000 default judgment cases backlogged. In 4 months, we cleaned that up. We got them all resolved, brought it all up to speed, and it went from 6 to 8 months. It used to be 6 to 8 months before you could get a judgment signed, a default judgment, and we turned it around. It was a 2-day turnaround. So we cleaned up a backlog of over 6,000 cases in 4 months. So Judge Bauckham and we worked 14 hours a day doing that, and sometimes on the weekend. And my JEA and her JEA would bring in stacks of files
Yes.
that we had to review, and then we had to process the case.
Well, I tell you,
Over 6,000 cases.
I think you have one of the best JEAs.
Yes, Angela is very good.
Very, very
Yes.
hard worker, and sometimes I joke with her because I call her at 11 o'clock in the morning and she don't answer the phone. I said, when are you gonna be there? She said, I've been here since 7 o'clock in the morning, you know. And she is a wonderful person, and one thing that I admire her, she's loyal
Yes.
to the judge that she worked with.
Oh, yeah.
You know, she was loyal to the previous judge, and I think in a way she was lucky that he was loyal to her too, because he made sure that you get her when you won the election.
Right.
You know, and because I was very concerned about Angela not having a job and everything else. You know, she's well, that's now, she's a new grandmother now. You know. But I believe that she's a very, very instrumental in your operation in your court.
Yes.
I don't know if that means anything to you, but
Yep.
I like to put in a good word for her.
Yeah, thank you.
But let me ask you, what makes you think, I don't know if I should ask you, but you can stop me anytime. What you think make Susie Bacon hire David Thomas? She don't need.
Yeah. I don't know.
I think
Like I
she
say,
would be-
we're friends.
Yeah,
We've
I
been
think
friends
she
since
would
law
be
school.
I think she would be re-elected very easy.
You can have her on your show and ask her that
No,
question.
David Thomas will not let her
Oh,
come over here.
okay.
No,
That's unfortunate.
No, I supported her the first time. I pushed for her. I did everything possible. I was very happy. And actually, since she became a judge, I only seen her 3 times, 2 times in a public event, and 1 time I visited her. I don't like to visit judges then I help, because I don't want to compromise anybody. I don't like to do that. I work hard to make sure that the good judge get elected, and then I back up, you know. I did it with Oscar Goodman. I thought he was doing a good job. I don't need to go there and kiss his butt every day or pat him in the back to be his friend and to be his supporter. You know, when the Review Journal wrote that article, that editorial, it said anyone but Oscar Goodman. We came out with an editorial that said no one but Oscar Goodman. And we put the good things, and it's the same thing I'm doing now with Trump. Trump don't need money. Trump don't need people to buy him.
Talking about raising campaign contributions.
You know.
There's a big example there.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No special interest,
You know.
oh my God.
Yeah.
Who do
That's
you
why I
like?
support him 100% just because of that.
Yeah.
It's
Who do
huge.
you like?
Well, as a judge, I really can't express, you know, because I run in a nonpartisan race. Now, you asked me, I can't answer the question if I'm
Yeah.
a Republican or Democrat. I can't
Yeah.
answer that. You know, and so as a Republican,
Well, I didn't ask you who you
support.
vote for. I said, who do you like?
Yeah.
For
Well,
president.
Well, I originally liked Scott Walker, who was the governor of Wisconsin.
Wisconsin,
I
yeah.
liked him. I liked Ted Cruz. Okay. I like Trump. Okay. So I think Trump or Cruz, maybe even, you know, Kadish or Cage would be good. So I would be happy with any 3 of those if they won.
And then we can get to the anybody but Hillary platform.
That's correct. That's right.
But he's a judge.
Yeah.
He cannot
Well,
talk.
I think most
It's
judges
very
could say that
difficult.
if they
It's
got
very
trained.
difficult
Yeah.
to interview a judge because it's only so much
Your
they can talk
background though
about.
is corruption, so we got a lot of talk to do about that with the Republican Party right now, and what they're doing behind closed doors to go against Trump, who scares them to death because it takes away their power in a way. I mean, that's corruption.
Yeah.
I mean, to the max. Wouldn't you agree, having a background in corruption, or?
Well, you know, I mean, it would
Very
depend
dangerous.
on the facts, you know. Clearly, if there's money involved and bribery,
Yeah.
you know, I'm sure that would be a violation of our criminal laws. You know, but I don't run in those circles, so I'm not
When
familiar
you
with
have-
what's
when
going on.
Republican-
You are allowed to be registered Republican, or you cannot be registered.
Well, I'm a registered Republican,
You are allowed to do that.
yes, and so I go to,
You just don't run as a judge with a.
yeah, it's a nonpartisan race.
Right.
So I try to go to the Republican and the Democrat events,
Right,
you know, because I want people,
To-
you know, to vote
to
for me
get to
because
know
I
you.
think I'm a good judge,
yeah.
and to vote for me because of my positions and my principles, not necessarily because of what political party I belong to. So, but I am a registered Republican. I've been a lifetime Republican. In fact, when I was in Humboldt County, I was the vice chairman of the Humboldt County Republican Party for a couple of years.
Well,
So,
I'm against the party because I think they're corrupt organizations.
yeah.
And,
And I'm to a point where I really tell people I'm a conservative as opposed to a particular party.
right,
I just tell people I'm a
then you're answering the
conservative
question,
person. Yeah.
exactly.
Do you have to tell people if they ask you what party you have to?
I don't have to, but if they ask me, I can tell them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can say you're
And I tell them
conservative.
I'm conservative, yeah. But if they ask me what party, I can tell them I'm a Republican, okay? I just can't advertise that because it's a nonpartisan race.
But my point is, if you choose not to tell me, you can say that I don't belong to any party?
Well,
That would be lying,
that would be a
right?
lie, yeah.
Yeah.
But I can tell you I'm a conservative,
Right,
you know. But if you ask me, then I could say, well, I'm not gonna tell you that, or I could tell you what party I registered in.
no, the reason I ask you this is because I wanted to ask you why is so much fighting in the Republican Party nowadays?
Because of Trump.
No,
Andrew,
no,
really?
I'm talking
They don't want
about,
either one of them.
I'm talking about
Oh,
here,
here.
I'm talking about in Nevada.
Oh,
And
okay,
I'm
I
talking
got
in
you.
Nevada, why are they so antagonistic against each other? They have the control of the legislation, and they fighting among each other.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate. You know, politics, you can disagree with people because people can have differences of opinion, but I think we need to treat people like human beings. We don't need to be antagonistic. We don't need to denigrate people's character. We can disagree, but still remain friends. You see what I mean? And unfortunately, as a whole, I think politicians have kind of forgot about that in this country. And that's why I think
In general.
in general, okay? Now, there are some good people. I work with some very good judges. I worked with some great attorney generals, as I mentioned before. So there's some very, very good people in our political system that are dedicated to doing the right thing. Unfortunately, you have other people that they have self-interest. They're not concerned about doing their job, and they're out for themselves and for special interests.
Judge, do you work with George Shannon?
George Chanos?
Yeah.
Yeah, for just a couple of months. He was only in there for a couple of months.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
was there that little, huh?
Yeah, yeah, because Brian Sandoval left to
Right,
be a federal judge,
right.
and then George Chanos came in, and I want to
He was
say,
appointed, right?
yes, he was appointed. I think he was the attorney general for maybe like 8 months, 8 or 9 months.
Oh,
And then
okay,
he
yeah,
decided,
almost a year, yeah.
and then he decided not to run,
He decided.
and then that's
to-
when Catherine Cortez Masto ran.
Do you think he would have been a good AG?
I think he would have done a good job. Yeah,
I
yeah.
like him.
Yeah, like I say, you know, and I forgot about, you know, George Chanos.
Yeah.
So I had the privilege of working with three
His
people
da- his
who I thought
daughter-
were very good.
His daughter used to have a radio show in here.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
George Escobar's daughter.
Oh,
So
okay.
she was married to George
Yes,
Shannon once.
yes, that's right.
You know, and he used to come over to the studio when we was on Sahara, because the only restriction that I put in, I had Saturdays it was all kids. Keep the kids busy.
Oh, good.
Entertain, and they can learn how to do this and how to do that part of it there. They don't need to be hooked up into this guy, and, you know, then if he's not here, I don't know what to do, you know. But the only condition I put is that one of the parents has to be there.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a babysitter, and I don't want to be in any difficult position with
Right.
underage kids and everything else. And either him or Judge Escobar, before she became a judge, they used to be there.
Okay.
And Judge Cedric Kern's daughter used to be there.
Oh, very good, yeah.
You know, we
Yeah.
had a good team of youngers working there. And, well, they weren't working, they weren't getting paid or anything, but, you know, they weren't getting the kind of money this guy's getting, you know.
What's your average like workload, let's say, in a week or a month or so? How,
Well, the Las Vegas Justice Court is the busiest court in the state of Nevada,
wow.
okay, statistically. So, you know, I mean, each week it's thousands of cases.
Wow.
That I
So
preside over.
How many hours are you usually there?
Well, I get to work 7:30, and then I take the bench about 7:45. I do my morning calendar. That takes me to about 9 o'clock, 9:30, and then I take a break, and then I come back and I do preliminary hearing calendar. And sometimes that depend on how many cases go. I can be there as late as 5 o'clock in the
Really?
afternoon, yeah, or be done by 1:30 or 2 o'clock.
And then what, you go home?
Well, no, and then I go down, and I look at my cases for the next day, because it's all on the computer. And so I get prepared for those cases, and then probably around 3:30 or so is when I go home. So 7:30 to 3:30, about 8 hours a day.
Yeah.
So,
And do you do inmates too?
yes, yeah, those are the in custodies. That's what we do in the 7:30 calendar. And then the inmates that have preliminary hearings, the 9 o'clock or 9:30 calendar, they bring those over.
Oh,
Later.
it's two different
Yeah,
groups.
yeah, 2 different groups, yeah.
Two
Do
different
you
bosses.
do on
two
TV too?
No,
You don't do it on TV?
no, they bring them over from the jail.
You
then-
like that TV
Yeah.
thing?
No, I don't care doing that. I like them in my courtroom
Yeah.
where I can observe them. Now, every once in a while, that can be difficult because when they get kind of upset at the judge and they call me, they cuss at me and they call me bad names and,
Really?
yeah, oh yeah.
That happens?
Oh, yeah. So, and then you just deal with it in court. I can find them in contempt and hold them in jail longer if I need
You know,
to.
all the years that
They
I've
must
been,
prefer that.
Maybe, yeah.
you know,
Who knows?
all the years that I've been covering the courthouse, I never seen anybody doing that.
Yeah.
I'm surprised.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have
Yeah.
to go to your courtroom
Yeah.
and spend some time there.
Yeah, it happens. I think it happens more in other courtrooms more than you'd think too. But no, I've had an inmate threaten to kill me. I've had inmates call me, names that I don't want to repeat on the air, and you just deal with it.
Wow.
But they're in shackles, and I have a marshal, and you have the correctional officers there. So courtroom safety is never an issue. But these are people that they're lifetime criminals, and they have no respect for the judicial system, let alone the judge.
Yeah.
The person that threatened you, was he a lifer anyways? I mean, what the?
Yes, he
Oh,
was
okay.
facing a murder charge.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
there you go, yeah.
Yeah, so he didn't care.
Do you think
Nothing to
some of
lose.
those people can react that way because they are nervous?
I don't think so.
No?
Yeah. Now maybe
People react different.
when they're nervous, but no, these are individuals. They've been in the system most of their life,
Yeah,
and they know what they're doing, and they just don't care.
yeah.
So,
Because I learned that from, I don't know if you ever get to know him, on the Sheriff Lloyd Bell.
oh yes,
Yeah, remember,
Yeah,
he's passed already.
yeah,
I asked him one day, I said, why do you have to embarrass people, go to their job and get them in handcuffs and everything in front of the coworker for just a traffic ticket?
Yeah.
He said, we do that, most of the time we do that to avoid more consequence.
Right.
People get nervous, people can react different. And I think it's possible that that is a true statement, He was a pretty good on the sheriff. I like him, he was. Of course, in the 60s, it was a different,
oh yeah,
different than what it is now,
Yeah.
Everybody can be better at that time than it is now to be
Yeah.
difficult, but
Just in the last 5 days, we've had, what, 5 shootings? You know?
What's
So it's
going
been-
on?
I don't know.
What's going on?
I
I
don't
thought this sheriff was gonna make a difference, but, you know, the community is not safe anymore, you know, and as much as I try to explain to people in my column or in the editorial or whatever, I try to explain to them, then the police have the right also to be nervous because so many policemen have been killed in the last 2 or 3 years. You know, look at those 2 officers over here in Sisi's Pizza. You know, they were having lunch. There wasn't even in a call or anything like that. You need to be cold-blooded to kill a human being, but to kill a police officer just because it is having lunch in a pizza place, and they have a right to be nervous. I never believed that we have a bad police department. We may have a bad administration, but that's a different, those people are up there, they don't have a deal with it. I think Las Vegas Police Department is a fine police department, but the people have to realize that those policemen are human beings. When they stop you, don't cause more problems by being aggressive, you know, because first of all, you're gonna lose anyway.
Right.
Because by the time that you open the door of your car, you got 3 or 4 cars already there waiting for you.
Yep.
You know, and I believe that the people have to give the police officer the respect that they deserve, and they need to be calm when they stop. You know, they need to be calm. I used to be like that when I was younger, I know that, and that's probably why I tell people, don't be aggressive with the police. It's stupid to be aggressive with the police. But I always try to do that. I think they're doing a good job, but I don't understand why so many crimes has been, it's been what, 80 crimes? And
Well, there's been a lot of shootings, a
yeah.
lot of killings, that's correct.
A lot of
yeah.
crime, 80 or 90 or something like that, according to the TV. But I believe that we need to put our brains to think a little bit more before we do any crazy stuff. You know, life is too short to be doing that. But let me ask you, do you have a website? You have a,
Well, I'm on Facebook,
you are?
yes, and it's Re-elect Judge Conrad Haffen. So you can go to my Facebook page
Right, and they can see.
and see it all about me and the pictures that I posted and things like that.
And
yeah.
they have, how many kids do you have?
I have 4
4?
children, yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's not too much for a mom, right? That's not too much for a mom.
Well, my older sister had 9.
Wow. How many Andy Heffy has?
I think Andy's got 5.
5.
Yeah. Yep.
He's your cousin, right? No,
Yes.
No brothers.
Right.
cousin.
Yeah, cousin. Yep.
Okay, and now where can people contribute to your campaign?
Well, they can send me an email,
Uh-huh.
conradhafen@yahoo.com,
Uh-huh.
and I'll respond to the email, and then I'll tell them where to send the money if they want to contribute to my campaign.
Right.
Or they can go on the Clark County website, the election department,
Uh-huh.
and I've listed my address there, as well as my email.
Really?
Yeah, okay?
Isn't that kind of
So,
dangerous?
Well, you know,
Why did you put your family at risk? You know, I have that. We got them.
I did that 6 years ago, and I haven't had a problem.
Well, good for you.
Yeah.
I had that problem. I had that conversation with Judge. Her husband are retired now. He was a judge in family court. Oh, God. She was a chief judge for a while. Well, whatever, my mind is not working too good today. I saw her outside the courthouse, the old courthouse, and I said, Judge, what are you doing here? She said, I'm waiting for my ride. I said, but why can't you wait inside? You know, you just put somebody in prison for 20 years. That person is not going to do nothing to you, but his father or his cousin or his brother or his son, anybody. She said, I can't live like that, you know. And she used to work Hardcastle.
Oh, okay.
Judge Hardcastle, you know, that sort of,
Yeah.
you know, and I believe the judges don't have enough security in our system here.
Well, I live in a neighborhood, and there's some police officers that live there.
Oh,
And the neighbors all know that I'm a judge. They're all supporting me. And we have a really good neighborhood. We watch out for each other. So, you know, like I say, 6 years ago, I put that address, and everything turned out to be okay. So I have
good.
faith. I think
Yeah.
I'll be okay.
yeah, I think, I don't think that is something that is common. It's not something that people do on a daily basis.
Right.
But I just believe that judges need some kind of security,
Right.
especially around the courthouse.
Yeah, and we do. We have our judges' parking lots across the street, and a lot of judges will have their marshal
Yeah.
walk with them across the street. I don't do that.
Do you have a mail marshal?
But I have a male marshal. But like I say, our courtroom's secure. Travis does a great job. He's the marshal. Does a really good job of securing the courtroom. So I feel confident, you know, and
Good.
and I've been doing this for a lot of years as a prosecutor. You kind of get your senses up, and you look around and make sure, you know, everything's
Well,
safe, and kind of make sure you're aware of your surroundings.
I believe that when you do the right thing, most of the time you don't have to worry about the consequence.
Right.
You know, people, the majority of the people are more concerned with the fact that, hey, I did wrong, I gotta pay the consequence.
Right.
There's always an exception to every rule, but you have any more questions for the judge?
Do you do any
Mr.
civil
Pro-
now, or it's all?
No, it's all criminal now. Yeah, the civil calendar's rotated among the 14 judges, so I won't have another turn at civil for several more years
How
now.
long you been a criminal?
Doing the criminal calendar for the last 5 years. So the first year was the civil calendar. Then I did the DUI calendar for a year, which is a criminal calendar. And then after that,
DUI is considered criminal?
yes,
crime? Oh,
yeah,
really?
yeah. And then after that, then I just did a general criminal calendar. So.
In justice court, is there, like, I know in a civil matter, I think it's up to 10,000 or something?
Yeah, well, now they increased it. It's 25,000 is the
Okay.
jurisdictional limit.
On criminal, is there any limit to the criminality? I mean, is it like you only handle up to a certain level of criminal, or do you
Well,
have murderers and stuff like that?
yes.
You do?
Yeah, the justice court, we're the court that hears the case at the very beginning of the process. So misdemeanor, gross misdemeanor, and all felonies will come in front of the justice court.
Oh.
If it's a misdemeanor, then a person pleads not guilty, then they go to trial, and that trial's in front of me. If it's a felony or a gross misdemeanor, then I preside over the preliminary hearing, and then if I find probable cause, I send the felony or the gross misdemeanor up to district court,
Okay.
and they have the trial in
Okay.
district court
That
for
makes
felonies.
sense.
Yeah, but we do hear every case at the very beginning.
Right.
But I noticed that most of the preliminary hearings are sent to district court. Is it that fair to say?
Yeah, well, yeah, it's a probable cause hearing. Very little evidence has to be presented. And so most of the time, now I've dismissed some cases because the prosecutor didn't meet the burden. But most of the time,
Really? You
Yeah.
mean your former co-worker demit and you rule against the,
Absolutely, yeah.
Judge, I have to shake hands with you. Because I believe that it is a very rare. I think we need to keep you on the bench.
Well,
Maybe somebody rub in and do the same thing. You are, do you have signs?
Oh, yeah, I've got signs all
Bring
over
me
the place.
signs.
Okay,
I put them in the, I like not to put them in the newspaper so it doesn't play unfair with anybody, but I can put them in the.
I give you some cards, I've got some cards out in the
Yeah,
truck,
put
I'll
them
bring
in
them in,
the-
okay,
put them
I'll
in
do
there,
that.
yeah, I'd be
And then you
happy
can put
to.
that, yeah, they're just like, it's what my signs look like. And the June 14th is the primary. So I want to encourage everybody to get out on June 14th and vote for Judge Haffen,
Yeah.
Justice Court Department 14.
Yeah, re-elect Josh.
Yes, re-elect Judge
Yeah,
Hafen.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Whenever you get a chance, drop by, drop a sign in here, and
Okay.
I put them in there, and I put them in my house.
Okay,
Bring me 2 signs.
okay, very good.
And we do, I do like to help you
Okay.
to be re-elected.
Okay.
And unfortunately, the newspaper, we decide not to endorse anybody anymore because endorsements, in our opinion, is a myth.
Right.
It's either because you like the person or
It
because,
might not help you too, so you have
yeah, that's true, that's true, that's true.
we don't wanna ruin anybody's chances.
Yeah, and but I do like to do my little effort to make sure that you get re-elected again. I told Angela that I got nothing but good comments on you, and your reputation is well, and I like people to know that. So if you want to come back another day before June, what, June 14th?
June 14th.
Before June 14th, if you want to take another day to come over and you don't have to invite us to lunch like today or anything, but I would love to have you again. And maybe a week or 2 weeks before the election, or
Okay.
whatever you need from us.
Okay.
We'll replay this interview, let's say, on Mondays or Tuesday, pick a day, Tuesdays?
Yeah,
Maybe replay it at, say, 1 o'clock or something like that.
yeah,
We'll just,
Very good.
we'll play
Yeah,
it
we can
periodically.
Yeah,
replay
I
this
appreciate that.
a few times,
Okay.
and please keep doing the right thing, because
And this is recorded on YouTube, so anyone can go to radiotribune.com and they can look up this interview and replay it themselves
Very
at
good.
their leisure.
Okay.
yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, that's, if you
Okay.
want, if you have a list of candidates or the supporters.
So maybe put down my Facebook,
Yeah.
people to go
yeah.
to.
Yeah,
Okay,
you
very
can,
good.
you can
Just
do
link it
that.
right to the.
Do you know how to do all that?
Well, I
I
have
don't.
somebody, yeah, I have somebody that can show me that.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
So-
wow.
But you'll see that.
Okay.
Right there, so.
good.
You see that? Yeah, definitely.
Very good.
So, thank you for being here
Yes,
today.
thanks for inviting me, I
Thank
appreciate
you
that.
for-
Judge?
You bet,
Thank you
nice
for-
meeting you.
Good
Thank
luck.
you
You
for
bet.
your service to the community,
You bet.
and again, my name is Rolando Larraz, and I stand behind every word I say in this radio show. Thank you for listening, thank you for all your help, and God bless you, God bless America, and God bless our troops.
I'll go out and get those cards
Yeah,
for you.
I got Judge Zaragoza and Judge